Ladies and gentlemen, there are two kinds of pain in life: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. And you know what? One lasts a moment, the other, a lifetime. Let that sink in. That workout you're about to skip? That business idea you're too afraid to launch? That uncomfortable but necessary conversation you keep avoiding? Those are moments of pain, temporary, fleeting, gone tomorrow. But the pride you feel when you push through, that sticks. That defines you. Listen, pain isn't the problem. The problem is the story you tell yourself about it. You feel discomfort and immediately think something's wrong. You think, this is hard, so maybe I shouldn't be doing it. No, it's hard because it matters. It's hard because it's shaping you. You don't get stronger by avoiding resistance. You get stronger by going through it. When you work out, your muscles literally tear. They break down so they can rebuild stronger. That's what pain is doing to your character, your mindset, your habits. The tearing is the transformation. You don't build confidence by staying comfortable. You build it by proving to yourself again and again that you can do hard things. Let's talk about the temporary part. Think about any pain you've felt in your life: emotional, physical, mental. You survived it, didn't you? You're still here. That breakup, you're still breathing. That job you didn't get, it didn't destroy you. Every storm you've weathered has ended. But the pride you carry from getting through it that's real, that's long-lasting. That's yours forever. You want to change your life? You've got to stop negotiating with your feelings. You think motivation is going to carry you through pain? No way. Motivation is a myth. Discipline is what carries you. Commitment, the decision to do the thing anyway, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. You can train yourself to lean into discomfort, to embrace the suck, to realize that your future self is counting on you to show up today. You don't owe anyone else your best, but you owe yourself. You owe it to the younger version of you who dreamed bigger. And you owe it to the future version of you who will look back and either say, I'm proud, or I wish. Don't let the moment you want to quit be the moment that defines you. Let it be the one that transforms you. When your legs are burning in that workout and everything in you says, stop, that's where the real work begins. When you're building that business and nothing's working and you want to throw in the towel, that's where resilience is born. That's where pride begins. This isn't about hustle for the sake of hustle. This is about purpose. It's about knowing that if you want to be proud of the life you're living, you've got to push through the pain that's holding you back from it. Pain is the path. Resistance is the signal. Fear is the green light. And pride? Pride is your trophy. You earn that. You build that, one hard choice at a time. You don't get to choose a life without struggle, but you do get to choose what that struggle means. Let it mean something. Let it shape you, not shatter you. Let it forge pride, not regret. And the next time you're in the middle of it, when it's hard and everything in you says quit, I want you to remember this. Pain is temporary. Pride is forever. Keep going. Pain, no matter how intense or how persistent, is not permanent. It might feel like it's never going to end in the moment you're down, discouraged, aching mentally, physically, emotionally, but pain is like a storm. It rolls in heavy, but it doesn't last forever. It eventually moves on, and what's left is you, stronger, sharper, wiser, still standing. Most people misunderstand pain. They think it's a sign to stop. They interpret discomfort as danger. But here's the truth. Pain is feedback, not failure. It's not a red light. It's a yellow light that says, slow down, pay attention, but keep moving. That moment of struggle, whether it's the heartbreak you're nursing, the rejection letter you just got, the overwhelming workload on your shoulders, it's real. But so is your ability to overcome it. And that ability grows through pain. Let me tell you something radical. If you're feeling pain right now, you're in the middle of a transformation. Growth is uncomfortable, progress is messy. When you're building muscle, it hurts. When you're building discipline, it's frustrating. When you're healing from something that broke you, it's exhausting. But all of those experiences, they shape you. You are literally being carved into a stronger version of yourself with every difficult moment you don't run from. Pain is a sculptor. And yes, it's rough. It chisels away the parts of you that aren't serving you anymore, the laziness, the fear, the excuses, the doubt. But you've got to let it do its work. You can't numb it with distractions. You can't outrun it by staying busy. You can't avoid it by pretending it's not there. You face it. You look it dead in the eye and say, okay, teach me something. And here's what's even more important, you remember, that pain is temporary. This is not the rest of your life. This is a moment. This is a hard chapter. This is a mountain you're climbing, and the summit is there, even if you can't see it through the fog. The key is not to give up just because you're tired. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. Pain also has a hidden gift, clarity. It strips away the fluff. When life gets hard, you find out what really matters, who your real friends are, what your core values are, what you truly want. It peels off the surface and brings you face to face with your own truth. There's power in that. You can use that clarity as fuel. Let it guide your decisions. Let it simplify your life. Let it make you bolder. One of the greatest lies we tell ourselves is that pain equals weakness. Nope. Pain is proof that you're in the game. It's the receipt for trying, for showing up, for caring enough to put yourself on the line. You know what's easy? Numbing out, tuning out, giving up. But you didn't come this far to be comfortable. You came to grow. And that comes with a contemporary pain for long-term pride. Think about it. Every time in your life when you felt truly proud of something, was it easy? Number. It was probably brutal. It stretched you. You had to claw your way through self-doubt, through failure, through fear. But now you look back and think, damn, I did that. That's pride. That's the forever part. That's what makes the pain worth it. So when you're in the thick of it and it feels like the pain is too much, pause, take a deep breath, remind yourself, this is temporary. It will pass. But the strength you're building, the pride that's waiting for you on the other side that stays, that's yours forever. You don't have to love the pain, but you do have to respect it because it's part of the process. You're not weak for struggling. You're human. And you're getting stronger with every single step you take through it. Your job is not to avoid the pain. It's to survive it, to grow from it, to rise with it. And remember this, you're not alone. Every strong person you admire has been there. Every success story has a chapter of struggle. Most people think resilience is something you're either born with or you're not. But that's just not true. Resilience is built, it's trained. It's a decision you make every day in the small moments when it would be easier to break down, shut off, or quit. But instead, you choose to show up. Resilience doesn't come from comfort. It comes from choosing growth over ease, from choosing to lean in when everything in you wants to check out. We all face hardship. That's just part of the human experience. But here's what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. The ability to keep going when life punches you in the gut. Resilient people don't have fewer problems. They have better tools. They bounce back, not because they're stronger by default, but because they've trained themselves to bounce. So how do you build that bounce back muscle? You start by refusing to see yourself as a victim. That's not your identity. Yes, hard things happen to you. Yes, you have every right to feel the weight of it, but you also have the responsibility to rise above it. When you tell yourself you're powerless, You hand your strength away. Resilience is about reclaiming it. Resilience isn't loud. It's quiet. It shows up in the decision to get out of bed when you don't feel like it. It's in the moment you decide to respond with patience instead of rage. It's choosing to make the call, send the email, go to the gym, take the first step again and again and again, even when your heart is still aching, even when your mind is filled with doubt. One of the most powerful things about resilience is that it starts with just one small choice. Just one. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to know how the story ends. You just need to take the next right step and then the next one. That's how resilience grows. Not in giant leaps, but in daily, deliberate steps that build confidence and momentum. And let's get one thing clear. Resilience isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's not about putting on a fake smile and ignoring your pain. It's about owning it, honoring it, but not letting it define you. You can grieve and grow at the same time. You can cry and still show up. You can feel afraid and still take action. That's what makes you powerful. You want to build resilience? Then you need to stop outsourcing your worth. Stop letting other people's opinions, attention, or approval dictate how you feel about yourself. Because the minute you rely on outside validation, you become fragile. True resilience is built from the inside out. It's knowing who you are, what you value, and where you're going, even when nobody else sees it yet. And let's talk about failure for a second. Because the truth is you can't be resilient without failing. That's just part of it. You're going to fall. You're going to mess up. You're going to hear no more times than you want. But every time you get back up, you're training your brain to see failure not as an ending, but as a step, a setup for a comeback. The most resilient people I know are the ones who stopped running from failure and started using it. They turned every loss into a lesson, every setback into a setup, every pain point into a pivot point. That's the mindset that changes everything. When you stop fearing the fall and start focusing on the rise, that's when you become unstoppable. I want you to think about a moment in your past where you were completely convinced you couldn't keep going, but you did. You found a way, you dug deep, you came out of it, changed. That's resilience. And if you did it once, you can do it again. Your track record for surviving hard days is 100%. Don't forget that. Another core part of resilience is emotional regulation, the ability to pause before reacting, to take a breath instead of taking the bait, to not let your temporary feelings make permanent decisions. That's power. And it's something you build every day by practicing mindfulness, reflection. You are the creator of your reality. It's a hard truth, but once you embrace it, you'll realize that all the power you need to change your life is within you. You don't need to wait for the perfect circumstances, the perfect moment, or the perfect people to make a move. Your life is your own, and it begins with the decisions you make in each moment. We often make excuses for why things aren't happening the way we want. We blame other people, our environment, or even our own past for why we can't create the future we desire. The problem with that mindset is that it places all the power outside of you. It leaves you feeling powerless and stuck, constantly waiting for something or someone else to change. But the truth is, if you want to see change in your life, you have to stop waiting for it to come to you. You need to go out and create it. You have everything within you to take the first step right now. In fact, every single choice you make moves you closer to or further from the life you want. You are not a passive observer of your own life. You are the architect. The way you think, feel, and act every day shapes your future. Think about it. Every time you choose to stay in your comfort zone, every time you say no to an opportunity out of fear, or every time you choose to give up, you are building your reality. But on the flip side, every time you take a leap of faith, step outside of your comfort zone, or take action toward your goals, you are building the foundation of the life you want. It's not about waiting for life to give you permission. It's about taking control and starting to create. The first step in becoming the creator of your life is to stop waiting for the ideal conditions. The truth is, there is no such thing as the perfect time. If you wait for everything to line up perfectly before you take action, you'll never take action. There will always be obstacles, challenges, and uncertainties. But if you can shift your mindset and take action anyway, that's when you'll start seeing real change. One of the biggest reasons people don't take action is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. But here's the thing about fear. It's a natural part of the process. Every successful person has faced fear at some point. The key is not to let it control you. Instead, you need to learn how to use fear as fuel. When you're scared, it means you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that's where growth happens. The more you face your fears, the less power they have over you. Another reason people don't take action is a lack of confidence. They think they don't have the skills, knowledge, or experience to succeed. But here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from taking action, making mistakes, and learning from them. Confidence is built through experience, not through staying in your head and wondering if you're good enough. You don't have to be perfect to start. You just have to start. So how do you start creating your reality? The first step is to make a decision. Decide what you want in your life and commit to it. When you make a decision, you're taking the first step toward action. It's no longer about waiting for permission or hoping things will magically change. It's about taking ownership of your life and deciding what your future will look like. Next, break your goals down into small, manageable steps. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you think about all the things you want to achieve, but the key is to focus on one thing at a time. Instead of focusing on the big picture, focus on what you can do today. What can you do right now to move closer to your goal? It might be something small, like sending an email, making a phone call, or researching a new skill. These small actions add up over time and lead to big results. Another important part of creating your reality is persistence. Success doesn't happen overnight. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you absolutely have control over how you respond to those events. Life is full of unexpected challenges, obstacles, and circumstances that you can't always predict or avoid. But how you choose to react to them determines the course of your life. The way you respond to difficulties, setbacks, and stress is crucial. In a world where things are constantly changing, where unexpected problems arise, and where you are faced with decisions every day, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But here's the key. The way you react is everything. Your response is what ultimately shapes your life, not the event itself. You don't have to let external circumstances dictate your mood, your thoughts, or your actions. A lot of people spend so much time trying to control things that are outside their control. They worry about things they can't change, overthink scenarios that may never happen, and stress about the future or the past. They're trying to control the uncontrollable, and in doing so, they only add more stress to their lives. But the truth is, control is an illusion. The more you try to control every little detail, the more you'll realize it's impossible. There are too many factors that influence life that are beyond your control. The only thing you truly have control over is yourself. If you can shift your mindset to focus on your own response, you'll find that you're in control of more than you think. When life throws challenges at you, the question isn't, why is this happening to me? Or, how can I avoid this? The question should be, how can I respond to this in a way that empowers me? It's not about controlling the outside world. It's about controlling your inner world, the way you perceive situations, the way you think, the way you handle your emotions. This is where your power lies. For example, imagine you're facing a difficult situation at work. Maybe you're dealing with a demanding boss, a project that seems impossible, or even a conflict with a coworker. Your first reaction might be frustration, anger, or anxiety. But instead of reacting impulsively, take a step back, breathe. Acknowledge how you feel, but then ask yourself how you can respond in a way that aligns with your goals, your values, and your best self. The choice is yours. This applies to all areas of life: relationships, health, finances, personal growth, and more. You can't always control the circumstances, but you can always control how you respond. And that's what makes all the difference. Think about it. When you're in a situation where you feel out of control, your initial reaction might be to panic. But panicking never helps. It only increases stress and clouds your judgment. On the other hand, when you stay calm, take a deep breath, and pause before reacting, you're able to think more clearly, make better decisions, and navigate the situation more effectively. Being able to stay calm in the face of challenges is a skill that can be developed. It's not something that comes naturally to everyone, but it is something that can be learned with practice. One of the most powerful tools to help you maintain your calm is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment without judgment. It allows you to observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. When you can stay mindful, you're able to detach from the stress and chaos of the moment and respond in a more thoughtful and composed way. Another crucial element to staying calm is emotional regulation. Emotions are powerful, but they don't have to control you. It's important to recognize that your emotions are valid, but they don't define you. When you feel stressed, anxious, or upset, it's easy to let those emotions take over. However, learning how to regulate your emotions by acknowledging them, giving yourself permission to feel them, and then choosing how to respond can make all the difference. In a world filled with distractions, noise, and constant change, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and disconnected from your true self. But what if you could tap into your inner power, focus on what truly matters, and build resilience? It's possible to create a life where you take control, make deliberate decisions, and experience peace and fulfillment, no matter what the world throws your way. One of the first steps in finding true peace and power lies in recognizing the strength that exists within you. You have the ability to weather any storm, to rise above adversity, and to control your thoughts and actions, no matter how challenging your circumstances may be. This realization isn't about denying that life can be tough or pretending that struggles don't exist. It's about acknowledging that while you can't always control what happens to you, you always have control over how you react to those events. When you begin to realize that you are in charge of your emotional responses, you unlock a new level of personal freedom. Your thoughts, emotions, and reactions are within your control. When you face challenges, you can choose to react impulsively, or you can pause, take a deep breath, and choose your response intentionally. You can train your mind to stay calm in the face of adversity. You can decide not to be shaken by the unexpected and not to let negativity derail your day. Your mindset is the key to unlocking that inner peace and resilience. Another critical part of developing inner strength is embracing the idea that growth comes through challenges. Too often, people shy away from difficulties, wishing for an easy path or hoping that life will always be smooth. But growth happens when we face adversity head-on. It's the struggle that builds strength, perseverance, and character. Every difficulty you encounter is an opportunity for personal growth, for pushing past your limits, and for expanding your capacity to handle the complexities of life. When you begin to see obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities for growth, your perspective shifts. You stop fearing challenges and start embracing them as catalysts for your personal evolution. However, in order to stay calm and resilient through life's storms, you must also practice self-awareness. You have to tune into your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions and begin to understand your triggers. When you're aware of what sets you off, you can begin to change your responses. Maybe you get anxious before big presentations, or perhaps you get frustrated when things don't go as planned. When you understand what's happening in your mind and body, you can take steps to manage those feelings before they escalate. This is where emotional intelligence comes into play. Building emotional intelligence isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending that you're fine when you're not. It's about understanding and managing your emotions so they don't take control of you. By practicing emotional regulation, you can prevent negative emotions from dictating your actions. This helps you stay calm, clear-headed, and focused, even in challenging situations. As you build your emotional intelligence, you'll find that you're able to make better decisions, communicate more effectively, and form healthier relationships. You'll have a better understanding of your own emotions, and as a result, you'll be better equipped to navigate the ups and downs of life. Additionally, creating space for mindfulness is essential in building inner peace and calmness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment without judgment. It helps you detach from the chaos around you and center yourself in the here and now. In a world that is always on the go, taking a few minutes each day to practice mindfulness can be a game changer. Whether through deep breathing, meditation, or simply taking a walk outside, these moments of stillness allow you to reset your mind and body